Breaking news right now, a deal has been reached on short-term debt ceiling extension. The temporary agreement that an agreement will avert a debt crisis, extending federal borrowing authority into December. Our D.C. correspondent Bofta Yimam joins us now. Bofta, this is a pretty big deal. Talk to us about it, if you will, about this new agreement that's been reached.
Well, what we know, Kelly, is that this is simply huge, and it happened very quickly within the past 24 hours, because we had heard just recently, really on Wednesday afternoon, about Senator Mitch McConnell proposing a possible option, really a bipartisan play here after what has been weeks of a stalemate. Really, they were at a gridlock, Republicans pushing back against any bipartisan move to actually raise the debt ceiling, to now be in this position where it seems they have a short-term debt ceiling solution. Key term here, though, short term. This goes through early December. Really, possibly at the late November, we could start seeing them negotiate all over again. It will be deja vu because lawmakers will be back at the negotiating table at that time, really discussing the same thing. What will the debt ceiling look like? Under this current proposal, Republicans would allow Democrats to use normal procedures for the extension, but at a fixed dollar amount covering current spending into December. So what this means is Democrats will have to come to an agreement on what that number will be. That's part of the caveat here. So they'll have to figure out what that number will be, but they plan to do so, really get this moving, this agreement, which Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced just within the past 20 minutes or so. They plan to move on this afternoon. As I mentioned in the past hour, the first hour of D.C. today, we know that the Senate is in recess next week. That's pushing them, of course, to get things done and get the ball rolling, because we know we have that timeline, and typically they want to be out of D.C. by tomorrow morning at the very latest so that they can be in their respective districts by the weekend in time for them to relax during the recess. So they're trying to get this done, it seems. We know that they were under the pressing deadline, Kelly, of October 18th. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen giving them that stern warning about what will happen to the United States. We will default for the first time, go into a financial crisis, an economic recession. We talked earlier on Start Your Day about the impact this would even have on black and brown communities who tend to, when there is an economic recession for white America, tends to be an economic depression for black America. We've talked about the unemployment numbers and what that shows, and how employers, while they're saying there's for hire signs everywhere, employers are looking at this and not necessarily always giving the fair shake to black America when it comes to the jobs, because we've seen that gap even in the August jobs report. So I bring this up because it's all tied to what would happen if we really went into an issue where they did not raise the debt ceiling. So the good news here, we've got a short-term solution. The not so good news is we're going to be back at this table, deja vu again, at the end of November, going into early December, right around Thanksgiving. And right around, Kelly, we've got to bring it up when you're dealing with infrastructure talks. And so all of this spending and all of these talks around money will be happening at the same time. We know that there's some GOP strategy playing a serious role here with the timeline of all of this, and Senator Mitch McConnell probably feeling the pressure of business leaders when they did refuse a few times now to not help the Democrats in a bipartisan manner when it comes to raising the debt ceiling.
Bofta, you laid it out perfectly well, and you also predicted in the last hour that they would make a deal happen. I want to go back to something you really said quickly about business leaders, because President Joe Biden and business leaders, as you know, had ramped up their concerns about this, and perhaps the business community put the pressure on the Republicans, particularly Mitch McConnell, to do the right thing. But as you stated, it's only temporary. So stating that, how much of an influence must the president exert for the next go-round?
I think he's going to have to step it up. We know that he mentioned the idea that was floated around, too, and I want to point this out because you brought this up earlier, but changing the filibuster potentially. And once that was brought up, how quickly Senator Mitch McConnell started to float this new proposal, because the idea of changing the filibuster could be disastrous for the GOP. Even if it was a one-off and a one-time thing, it could still prove to be something that would impact the GOP going into the 2022 midterm midterm elections. And so when you look at that move that the president said could be a possibility, plus you have business leaders laying on that pressure, as you mentioned, you have those two factors, and Senator Mitch McConnell, really, it's not quite the fourth quarter, but it kind of is when you're talking about the debt ceiling on October 18th being right around the corner, and Yellen mentioning, hey, October 18th is the deadline. This could happen, this economic downturn, before then. And so I think when you have those two things brought up, how quickly Senator Mitch McConnell surprised even his party with this, because they have pushed back on this. They've taken this firm stance in the past few weeks, really being vocal about it. They're not supporting the Democrats in their effort to raise the debt ceiling. And here we are, a day before they go to recess, and look what's happened. A short-term solution, but a solution, and one that Democrats are going to take for sure.
Jokingly, it's all about that recess. But look, the political football has been passed, but it's still too early to spike the ball in the end zone. Thank you so much, both. Great reporting, as always, from Washington. So a bipartisan deal to temporarily raise the debt limit has many on Capitol Hill and Wall Street breathing sighs of relief. Both the Dow and NASDAQ, as we reported earlier, are moving upward this morning. The best minds in politics are here this morning as well, right here in D.C. today. We've got Jessica Stone, author of Crossing the Divide. She's here. And she's joined by Dr. Niambi Carter of Howard University Political Science professor, and Timothy Allen Simon, chairman of the African American Chamber of Commerce there in California. And Timothy, I'll begin with you. Why do we always have to come to the brink of disaster for Washington to get anything done? Timothy, your mic is muted
Kelly.
right there, I think.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I'm on mute. Yeah. I think, it goes all the way back to gerrymandering and the fact that, those in the middle are diminishing in our, geography of districts in this country. Hence, the need to compromise is not necessarily imperative and impactful on elections. And I think this is something we should look at more closely in terms of why we find ourselves gridlocked. Why? Because that's how the districts are designed. However, while we're kicking the can down the road, I think it's a positive. I do believe that Wall Street has responded to it. And I also believe, particularly since Citizens United, that Republicans are getting the message from Wall Street, from the Fortune 500, that this kind of behavior is damaging to the economy. At the same time, Democrats have to understand that they're not going to get everything they want. In fact, that's dangerous on both sides. You have to have a balanced budget and a balanced policy regarding expenditures. So I do still believe that the limit will be raised, but Republicans are going to have a word in it. And I think that's what the framers intended.
So, Dr. Carter, thank you for that, Timothy. Dr. Carter, the short-term debt hike still doesn't resolve the overall issue, as Timothy was just talking about. It just kicks the can down the road a little further. And as Bofta was reporting, they're still going to have to come to the table to get something done. But the bottom line is President Biden, as well as the business community, perhaps put some pressure on Mitch McConnell of the Republicans to work with Democrats and come to a moment of agreement. How do you look at this in terms of not only disagreement, but what's going to happen in a couple of months from now?
Well, look, I think we'll be having the very same conversations in November, December. Mitch McConnell is a master tactician. He didn't do this for no reason. I think for many of the reasons we talked about before is that we have a midterm election coming up, and that's going to be ramping up in a few months. And no one wants to be the party that wrecked the economy when we've had this unprecedented health emergency that has also had these really severe effects on the economy. And so I think right now, Mitch McConnell is thinking about looking or appearing conciliatory, because I do think there is a way to turn this into still a triumph for both parties. Quite frankly, everybody is thinking about this through the lens of fall of 2022. So I think, we'll see, I think, much of the same hard talk, right? Tough talk and hard decisions. But I think the Democrats at least seem to still be committed to this kind of bipartisan process. I don't know if that's going to work out well for them down the line, but certainly I think everyone here, both Democrat and Republican, are thinking about how to put their party in the best light come the midterm cycle, and nobody wants to be the one who is responsible for the economy failing at such a fragile time on their watch.
Politics, election politics always prevail, it seems. The threat of killing the filibuster, however, seems to have worked, Jessica. Do you think the president letting that information get out, that he might do something about the filibuster, kind of move the Republicans?
Yeah, it certainly could be the case, right? Because killing the filibuster would really remove a huge stick in their arsenal. But I want to kind of zoom way out and just remind everybody that the fact that we keep coming back to this every year, almost every year, is really detrimental to the world's opinion and the world's faith in our ability to pay our debts. And the closer the competition gets with China, and just to a lesser extent with Europe, and we think about the strength of the U.S. dollar in terms of bailing us out reputationally, the more this really comes into focus as a real national security issue. So this is a short-term play. We've been able to use this playbook repeatedly on both sides of the aisle, but long-term, it really damages the credibility of this country.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I know that Niambi and Timothy agree with you, because the long view is that we keep coming back to this year after year after year, and not only is it detrimental to us globally, it's just so tiring that we can't govern better than this amongst our elected leaders.